भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयम् देवम् सद्गुरुम् ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। द्वितीयं मुण्डकम् द्वितीयः खण्डः। आविस्सन्निहितं गुहाचरं नाम महत्पदमत्रैतत्समर्पितम् एजत्प्राणन्निमिषच्च यदेतच्चानथ सदसत्वरेण्यम् परं विज्ञानाद्यत्वरिष्ठं प्रजानाम्।
Very nice chanting with them. Hari Om to all. So we are doing reflections on Mundakopanishad. And we are doing chapter 2, section 2. So just now what Vidya chanted was mantra number 1. In this entire Upanishad, we are reflecting on one question alone. What is that? By knowing which, I will know everything. So here also it is referred as that. That means in English which is far off. So what is that by knowing which I will know everything? That is the Paravidya which actually starts from this section, chapter 2, section 2. So what is that? That is Paravidya. What is Paravidya? That is knowledge of the imperishable. In this Mundakopanishad, it is referred as Akshara. In different Upanishads, different words are used. But here we are referring that as Akshara Tattva. How by knowing one, everything will be known? Because that one is the source of everything. That one is the support of everything. The one is, that this one is the abode of everything. So this is a main point to be remembered, that the logic is this. How by knowing one, I will know everything. By knowing gold, I will know all ornaments. Because all ornaments are basically different name and form only. Then we saw that all these names and forms, or the knowledge of perishable, which is called as Aparavidya, will give us success and happiness, definitely. That also is very important in transactional life. But it has its own limitations, like it cannot give us fulfillment. It cannot remove our self-knowledge. And by knowing one science or one Aparavidya, I cannot know everything. So these are the logics which are very important to remember. So now I am interested to know what is that. So in this section, two important highlights we must remember, that is described. What is that? Imperishable Tattva. Though it is beyond logic, beyond reason, beyond words, attributes of those are pointed in the first two mantras. And the next two mantras, a meditation technique is given. That is the reason, uh, one reason why Mundaka Upanishad is very, very famous and popular, because of the technique, which is very, very interesting technique to meditate upon. So in the last session, we saw one very important mantra, Avihi Sannihitam Guhacharam Nama. So various attributes are given about that Akshara Tattva. Avihi means one which is bright, which will be again repeated here in another way in the second mantra. It will be termed as Archimat. Archimat means that which is luminous. So this is very, very important why it is repeated. So whenever there is a repetition, it becomes important. So what is the importance of this? All other knowledges are dependent on some factor. There is only one knowledge we can say. There is only one thing we can say with confidence, with conviction, with our own experience, without support of even scriptures or anything, without senses, without mind, without intellect, without memory, without name and form, that is only one. And that knowledge is I am. This is where Ramana Maharshi directly starts and says that this is a direct path. So those who are very, very keen, high mumukshatva is there, they will just sit and do japa of I am, I am. And then the upadhis will be given up, and then I will settle down in that I am, and that in that focusing on that I am, the lower I or the ego or the false notion dissolves and real I emerges. Also is a word. Real I is recognized that I am that real I. So that's the reason in the second word itself it has been mentioned in the last first mantra, Sannihitam, existing very close. Because by reading this Brahman attributes, I think, or the words why the way they are mentioned, is that I think that is paroksha, far off. God is far off. Brahman is far off. So where it is mentioned, no, it is Sannihitam. Sannihitam means it is the closest. Why? Because I am that. Here the seeker is the sought. Like J.K. Krishnamurti is one of the famous words to meditate is the observer is the observed. Here I am interested to know who is the observer, who is the knower, who is the experiencer. And this is a very good technique to just come out of the experience. If somebody is saying, I am very angry, I am very sad, I am very, depressed, immediately we can, those who are listening to this Mundakopanishad, immediately said, okay, who is that who is sad? Immediately what will happen with that question? I will focus on, oh, I am sad. And the next question immediately I must start, who is that I? And then we are following Mundakopanishad. So anything we can take and meditate. So now we are going to see the meditation technique today. And this I have to do during the waking state itself. Who wants to get liberated? I. Who is listening Mundakopanishad? I. Why I am listening to Mundakopanishad? Because I want to have the knowledge of Mundakopanishad. Why I want to have Mundakopanishad knowledge? Because this knowledge will liberate. It will liberate whom? I. Who is that I? In that inquiry, the I dissolves. Because one thing we must remember, like all of us, why people don't put on their videos, because nobody likes people watching them. Suppose 10 people suddenly start watching you, you will become uncomfortable. I tell this story many times. We do it many times when we friends go to a marriage. Four of us gather and then start looking at the bride or somebody and see point out that suddenly the bride will look all dressed and the boys will look their zipper and then sab theek to hai. Why are you looking? Because they cannot handle They cannot handle the, is the main point, huh? 10 people looking at us, we cannot handle. In the same way, we have learnt in higher texts like Saddarshan that ego is only fearful of what? Ego is fearful of only attention. And that's the reason it will have 100 tricks to keep us away from this Mundaka Upanishad knowledge. Now also suppose sleep is coming. The sleep is coming because the ego doesn't want us to listen to this. Because ego says when this person sleeps, then I am the winner. Because this person will not listen to this knowledge and he will or she will listen to this knowledge without paying attention to the ego. Because what has been discussed here is that how to finish off this ego. Now, what this is not my words, huh? This is Bhagavad Gita words. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhava. And who are these? Mahashano, Mahapapma, Mahavairi, Mahavairi, Bhagavan is saying. And here also now we see in the third mantra, what Bhagavan is saying is that same thing what Lord said to Arjun. Here it is in a nice way said to us, Griyatvat. Griyatvat means pick up the bow. The third mantra we will see. And then I suppose I am sleepy, I am not understanding, I will not pick up only. Like Arjun, I am just leaving the bow. That is Upanishad and go to sleep because that Grihitvat, pick up the bow means pick up the Upanishad. Pick up this Upanishad and then how to pick up? I have to, I have to lift it properly and stand in that position, those who have done archery. So today we are going to do spiritual archery. This is called as spiritual archery. And this is the most adorable, most lovable. I like that word very much in the first mantra. My favorite word, that is Varenyam. Because where the love comes, then the journey becomes easy. Then I don't have to focus, I don't have to meditate, I don't have to put so much of effort. The mind will just flow towards where it loves. Whatever I love, it goes. And it is worth repeating that logic. I love myself the most because I want to give happiness to myself. How much happiness I want to give myself? Infinite happiness. So I'm listening to Mundakopanishad because I've experienced in Abhyudaya many, many kinds of happiness, but they are not infinite. So I want to give myself infinite happiness. So I am 9 o'clock, I am just listening and Sunday morning, and then I'm doing all the things because I want to give happiness to myself. So Varenyam, this imperishable tattva, Akshara tattva is Varenyam. So till that we had seen. Now these three mantras are very important because these are uniqueness of this Mundaka Upanishad. So second mantra is almost a repetition of the first mantra because it is important. So again, before chanting all these mantras and discussing, we have to always tell myself, all this discussion is happening about myself, defining myself. So yeah, Vidya, we can chant this twice.
यदर्चिमद्यदनुभ्यो च यस्मिन् लोका निहिता लोकिनश्च तदेतदक्षरम् ब्रह्म स प्राणस्तदुवाङ्मनः तदेतत् सत्यम् तदमृतम् तद्वेद्धव्यम् सौम्य विद्धि यदर्चिमद्यदनुभ्यो च यस्मिन् लोका निहिता लोकिनश्च तदेतदक्षरम् ब्रह्म स प्राणस्तदुवाङ्मनः तदेतत् सत्यं तदमृतं तद्वेद्धव्यं सौम्य विद्धि.
So now attributes are given of this Brahman Akshara Tattva. And these attributes are given. What has been given here? The goal is given, the mark is given, the bullseye is given. And then what is told that penetrate this by the mind. Oh my dear Saumya. penetrate this by the mind. So if you see all the scriptures basically boil down to one sadhana, fine tuning of the mind, and in two words, entire summary of what we have to do. So if this question comes anytime to our mind, okay, I know so many things what I have to do. Only two things, Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata. So yet that which means that Brahman, that Akshara Tattva is Archimat, luminous, Chaitanya Swarup, not inert, self-illuminating. And this illumines the sun, stars, Natatra Suryo Bhati Chandrana Tarakam. So that is going to come again. This is also a mantra which is part of this Upanishad, what we chant. So again, when we read all these things, self-illuminating, shining, earlier I used to think, oh, when I will get enlightened, there will be lot of shining, there will be lot of light, and some aura will come. No, no, no. It is basically, for a long time I was thinking, and still when we read these English words, we think that illuminating, lighting, shining means, some shine will come, my face will become bright. No, no, no. It means that it is consciousness. It is pure knowledge, not knowledge of something. It is I am is consciousness and I am is existence. I know that I am conscious of my existence. So I am conscious of my existence is the final truth, is the truth. It is as simple, as close, as near, as dear to me. And we miss it, like as we are missing the space in the room and our attention is all on the objects. We miss the screen because my attention in the darkness is on the movie and the drama and the characters. We miss the screen there. And screen is always there, untouched. It is subtler than the subtlest. Anubhya, anu. Subtler than subtlest means it is not that Atma is very small and sitting inside the body, but subtler than subtlest, smaller than smallest, which means it is beyond gross, subtle, and causal body. There is a gross body, subtle body, causal body, and Atma is beyond these three. So it is called as Anubhya Anu. As last time we mentioned, Tukaram Maharaj mentions Anu Renu ha tokada, tuka zhala, tuka akasha evada. 300 years back, he was talking about Anu Renu. And it also means it is the biggest because subtler is the sign of pervasiveness. So it is all pervasive. Yasmin loka neta lokinasya means abode of all universes and its inhabitants. Suppose we don't understand this, then a further more description is given. So all this solar system, Milky Ways, galaxies, whatever we can see, there are many, many lokas here. People ask this question, are there inhabitants in other solar systems? Definitely yes. In Bhagavad itself, it is mentioned there are 1,000 worlds going on simultaneously. And all his inhabitants is this Brahman itself. And inside, suppose my life, my speech, my mind, everything is Brahman. So if somebody says something to me, now we must say, okay, behind that there is this illumining power. That illumining power is Brahman and we must smile and laugh. If something happens outside, we must smile and laugh because it is Brahman only doing, it is Brahman only. And now what has been mentioned here, Vedavyam, penetrate using your mind. Now the whole challenge is what? Same mind which is, going, like one saint tells, like a pig. It goes and entertains itself and collects all the world. Same mind is now listening to Mundakopanishad. Same vessel which we are making onion, lasun, sambar. Now in Shravan we don't make. In the same vessel we use for boiling milk. The problem is. So that is our main problem. What is happening there is that this Mundakopanishad knowledge is coming and this vessel is not even cleaned. Just imagine that the half sambar is still there, yesterday's sambar. Or just keep sambar for 8 days, bottom. And in that you pour milk and then keep for boiling. This example looks little very cross, but that is what is happening is that whole day my mind goes and experiences lot of things in the world, and then this imperishable knowledge also is coming in the same mind. So this practice is given to us for meditating on this, where first is to stillness of the body and the second is silence of the mind. Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata. So give mind Brahman as goal to contemplate and penetrate. That is what is mentioned. Now our goal is more experiences, family, job, business. I don't have to leave it. That is a process. That is a means for purification. Once I change this, then this becomes our goal. How it should be done? How to penetrate? Okay, give me some techniques. Next two verses are the techniques. So I would request Vidya to chant both the verses, because in one verse the technique is given, another verse the description is given. So chant twice both the verses. Actually, both are almost synonyms are there.
धनुर्गृहीत्वा उपनिषदं महास्त्रम् शरं ह्युपासानिशितं सन्धयीत आयम्य तद्भावगतेन चेतसा लक्ष्यं तदेवाक्षरं सौम्य विद्धि धनुर्गृहीत्वा उपनिषदं महास्त्रम् शरं ह्युपासानिशितं सन्धयीत आयम्य तद्भावगतेन चेतसा लक्ष्यं तदेवाक्षरं सौम्य विद्धि प्रणवो धनुःशरो ह्यात्मा ब्रह्म तल्लक्ष्यमुच्यते अप्रमत्तेन वेत्तव्यं शरवत्तन्मयो भवेत् प्रणवो धनुःशरो ह्यात्मा ब्रह्म तल्लक्ष्यमुच्यते अप्रमत्तेन वेत्तव्यं शरवत्तन्मयो भवेत्.
Very nice. So now one metaphor or analogy is coming of spiritual archery. Now what is what? We must remember. What is what? And then when we meditate, this is a technique given for us to meditation, for meditation. So what is the analogy? Spiritual archery to attain Brahman, that Akshara Tattva. This is Paravidya now. Astra and Shastra. There is a difference between these two words. What is Astra? That which is thrown. And what is Shastra? That which is used using hands. So now we are going to use the Astra. We are going to throw that bow. And that bow will go and hit the Brahman bullseye. And then something is going to happen. Great weapon. This is called as great weapon. The weapon is used to kill the enemy. So who is the enemy here? My ego, my ignorance. Not killing Brahman, because otherwise if you take literally, the arrow is going to hit Brahman. So not to kill Brahman, but to kill the enemy which is inside me only, ego and ignorance. That's the reason it is called as Mahastram. Gritvat. This is very interesting word. I like this word very much. Gritvat. Take the bow in the hand. How to take the bow in the hand? Those who have done archery, if you have not done archery, you must go and do archery now. Because to take that bow in the hand, I must stand properly. And there is a position to stand. And then I take the bow in the left hand. And then take the pratyancha and pull. And then I test it. And then I test the arrow and then put it and then shoot. So all that analogy is given here. So take the bow in the hand. What is the bow? Settle down with Vedantic knowledge. So bow means Upanishadic knowledge of Om. So here it is given Om, but we can say Upanishad knowledge is Om. So that is what is the bow. So we have already picked up, now we have picked up bow and we are polishing the bow because now we are reflecting on this Upanishad. Understanding the essence of Upanishad of Om, 4 matra. So that we will take in the second mantra. Sharpening of the arrow. Then what I do? I sharpen the arrow. How? Why I sharpen the arrow? Because the arrow is blunt. The arrow is not straight. Sometimes the arrow is bent also. So there is straightening of the arrow and there is sharpening of the arrow. Because if the blunt arrow is there, it will not penetrate. So we have to refine it. Sharpen the arrow. What is the arrow? The arrow is the mind. And on that mind, what is there? Mind means mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. Ahankar is on the top, on the tip. And when that ahankar goes towards the Brahman or towards the self, both are same, then that ahankar will dissolve. So how to sharpen the mind? 3 steps are given. In Bhashya, there is one, what I mention is given here. Sharpen first by purification of mala, by karma yoga. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara. Second, by concentrating of distracted mind by upasana. So I have to do some japa, focus on the breath so that mind becomes stationary. And japa also I must attain a particular level where even while chanting the japa, my mind is not roaming around here and there. So this is all we have to practice. Sharpen by regular understanding Manana Upanishad knowledge. Again and again, I must ask the questions, not believe or not assume that I have understood. Because Uttam Adhikari, Jnana Matrena, Shravan Matrena, Jnana happens. Sharpen by Nididhyasana, constant. Now, what is Nididhyasana here? Constant attention, focus, contemplation on attributes of Brahman, which are given in the Mantra 1, Mantra 2. If I have not understood what is Brahman, what is Atman, what is self, and I am sitting for meditation, the meditation will give us some gain, but goal of meditation will not be accomplished. So I have to focus on what are the various attributes. As I mentioned last 2-3 sessions back, once this Mundakopanishad is completed, we will see various attributes given in various Upanishads, and we can take one session on that because these attributes are my attributes. And Adi Shankaracharya says that this meditation has to be done long time. I must actually check. One day I must sit in cross-leg position or whatever position and see how long can I sit. 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. It has to be done regularly, and thirdly, it has to be done with love, devotion. These are the 3 things Adi Shankaracharya mentions, that this is how we must practice. Very clear methodology given here. Pulling back the string, then I put the arrow which is sharpened, which is clean, which is straightened, and then I have to pull. So what is pulling back? Pulling back is done for the speed. Those who have at least tried archery, you know, we have to pull a lot till this elbow is straight and this right hand comes till the ear. And then also you will find the arrow falls here only. 2 feet also it doesn't go. Actually, if you have tried. If you have not tried, you come to Kolad at my resort. We have got 2 archery, stands there, and then there is a smaller one, bigger one. It doesn't go 2 feet also. 2-3 feet. It just drops down there. Because it is not pulled properly and it shakes when we pull. And then we wonder how Arjuna would have, used arrows, and few centuries back people were using bow and arrow. So what is to be pulled? Mind and senses. From what? Mind and senses is to be pulled from the world. It is called as pratyahar in Yoga Shastra. Yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, then what comes? Pratyahar. Then dhyan, dharana, samadhi. These are Ashtanga Yoga. So pratyahar means what? This cannot happen without renunciation. It cannot happen without vairagya. It cannot happen without clear understanding that there is no permanent happiness in the world of object, emotions, thoughts. I am convinced about it. If I am convinced about it, the mind will not go only for there. If I am not convinced yet, The mind will again and again go and believe that there is happiness in objects, emotions, thoughts, OET. So if my mind is not coming back to this self or Brahman, then what I have to do? I have to again go back to Tattva Bodh and develop Vivek, Brahma Vivek, Dharma Vivek. I have to again read those notes and again say, oh no, my Vivek is not solid. My understanding is not clear. So my Vairagya is not happening. Then the speed comes. Till withdrawal of senses of mind and its object doesn't happen, the speed, progress in meditation doesn't happen. Such a beautiful analogy it is given. Wonderful analogy. All aspects are covered and all answers are given. Why I'm not progressing in meditation? Because the speed of mind is not there. Why the speed of mind is not there? Because it is still not pulled back. Pulled back from what? World of object, emotions, and thoughts. From temptations, from desires. Because it is not pulled back, I will just do meditation, sit and say, oh, it was nice. Today it was nice. What was nice? It was very peaceful. And then second day, no, it was very, very agitative. But this is not the goal of meditation. These are gains of meditation. What is the arrow on the tip of the bow? Put the ego. The ego is on the tip. And when I focus that ego, when it goes towards the self, that ego dissolves. What is going towards the self? Paying attention, paying focus, shifting the attention from scenery to the seer, from experience to the experiencer, from the known to the knower, from the witness to the witnesser. With the penetrate, ego seeker, doubter dissolves. So Vedanta doesn't remove doubts, it dissolves the doubter only. Vedanta doesn't give what the seeker what it wants. The Vedanta dissolves the seeker only. And how it is to be done? Transcend by jnana. So here, what we saw, purification, concentration, transcendence. The seeker is the sought, the target is the self. What is the goal? Immortal Brahman Akshara Tattva. And then I can sit down in the meditation and then I will experience myself. I don't have to say it loudly. Aham Brahmasmi. Oh, I am that only. Nisargadatta Maharaj says. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Atma Gudakeshu. Tukaram Maharaj says, Ata Baisalo Shezari. Now I am sitting next to God. Now there is no distinction between me and God. Both are one only. Only by chanting. So what is to be done? I have to chant Om. Om like this. You have to see how Vidya chants. Om. Then there is a gap. Long gap. Then again, Om. Initially the Om, I must chant so that mind is agitated. When I get little settled down, then Om, 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 Om. Then I have to increase the gap. Om, then gap, Om, then gap. And slowly, slowly the gap must be so big that the silence is experienced. In that silence, the mind dissolves and mano nasha happens because there is nothing to cognize for the ego. Ego lives on objects, emotions, and thoughts, experiences, kama, krodha, lova. If it is not having anything, if it is only having silence, the ego dissolves. In deep sleep, we experience mano laya because there is nothing to cognize. But in samadhi, the mano nasha happens because there is nothing to cognize. So what is that Nam Om? And who is the Nami? Brahman. So I have to just focus on the sound. Om, 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 Om. This is how the meditation technique is. The sound takes us to the word meaning. The Brahman will say all the time, oh, who is calling, who is calling, who is calling, who is calling. And then Brahman means Brihatvad Brahman. My mind will start expanding. In that expansion, the finite mind will dissolve in the infinite. The wave dissolves in the ocean, the bubble dissolves in the ocean, and the salt all dissolves in the ocean, and salt also now I am the ocean. There is no salt also. So now here analogy is given in detail. Pranavo dhanusharo yatma brahma. And what is a laksha? Brahma is a laksha. Bo is what? Om. Prakarshena nuyate abhidiyate brahma anena iti pranava. This is a definition of Om. Very beautiful definition. So what is Om? That which describes the Brahman the best. So what is Om? Om is basically four matras. We'll come to that. A means waking state. U means dream state. Ma means the deep sleep state. And the fourth state is called as a Turiya state. So this I must read. So this is coming. This is not mentioned here in this Upanishad because this is the main topic in Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad has only 12 mantras. And this is a technique given that entire Mandukya Upanishad is Om. And in that seventh mantra is given where attributes of Brahman are given. Na antapradnyam, na mahish pradnyam, na ubhayot pradnyam, na pradnyam, na pradnyam, agrahyam, shantam, shivam, advaitam. And then this you seek. This Atma you seek. So when I say Om, I must all remember, contemplate that I am transcending the waking state. I am transcending the dream state. I am transcending the deep sleep state. And in that silence, I am in that Turiya state. Once I keep doing mentally this and with the sound, it will start happening. So the Turiya state is a substratum which is present in all three states. So what is arrow? The mind, ego is the arrow. What is the goal? Brahman is the goal. How to penetrate with steady and undeflected mind? Swami Advaitananji gives in Hindi it is called dhyana or in Ashtanga Yoga. So what is it? There are three processes in that. Dhyan dena. When now Shravan is happening, this Mundakopanishad, dhyan do. उसके बाद में जो सुना है उसका ध्यान करो एंड देन जो सुना है और जो समझा है उसका ध्यान रखो मीन्स अबाइड इन इट ध्यान देना ध्यान करना ध्यान रखना अबाइड इन इट व्हाट आर द क्वालिफिकेशन रिक्वायर्ड चित्त शुद्धि चित्त एकाग्र व्हाट इज द रिजल्ट इंडिविजुअल सेल्फ बिकम्स द इनफाइनाइट सेल्फ मनोनाश So what to say after this? Nothing. Nothing to say. कबीरदास जी से न लेना ना देना न बोलना न समझना न बताना न बताना तो क्या करना बस मगन में रहना इन दैट जॉयस इनफाइनाइट स्टेट न लेना ना देना बस मगन में रहना एंड दैट इज द हाईएस्ट स्टेट व्हाट इज अचीव्ड एंड विच इज द वरेण्य मोस्ट लवेबल मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल infinite joyous peaceful state whatever we can call it. So Swamiji completed till this much and further we will see that Saguna Brahma is also same as Nirguna Brahma. So that time we will again recap the concept of God. Concept of God we have to really understand well if still I have a doubt on God concept. What are the various from absolute Nirgun Nirakar to Sagun Sakar. We will see different aspects. But most wonderful meditation technique here, not for understanding only, not for theory, not for by hearting, for doing it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.